You may can't believe we do this contract stuff not because we actually want it, but NOMAN, our boss, said go for the ARCOP ship paints on tier 5 because we want to have that red color scheme that fits to our organization, NOMAN Scrap, and yes, so we do. We are in ARCOP's orbit and doing these contracts. First task we have is how many contracts will fit into the Asgard. Yes, the Asgard, we utilize the Asgard as a cargo ship as we usually do because we are traders. We already know that the Asgard has 180 SCU's gridded cargo capacity, but if you want to max out, you also need to know what is the off-grid capability. This event is very interesting in several ways how we look at it. Development stage. Star Citizen is in early access for public testing, that is alpha. And we assume that CIG, the overlords, are stress testing with this event. What do they stress testing? They eventually stress testing the player count per shard. We have shards up to 600 seats per shard, and we use usually low pop shards because that is just less stressful. Freight elevator usage, yeah, we utilize a lot of freight elevators. All the players, they do this kind of event, and we claim they don't stress test, and we will see during this 3-part series that they don't, and why we say they don't. Another aspect of this event is we using this event as a platform to showcase the ship review of the Asgard as a cargo hauling. And we have 3 parts planned for this. This is part 1. First part is the ship review because the Asgard replaced the Taurus for us. And the second part will be ship review, how many contracts of this event we can put into the Asgard. And the third part will be max in, max out. That is our saying when we do hauling, or let's say rather trading in the verse. Yeah, box moving is the business we are in. Box moving is how we make money in the verse. And the last aspect of this whole event is the social engineering aspect. There is a theory of evolution that we human beings evolve, yeah, from the hunter-gatherer to the civilized citizens as we should be today. But we are still for the hunt for free stuff, and that's why we gather boxes in order to get that free stuff. And that brings the best but also the worst out of the citizens, the player base. And we probably will see that during this 3-part series, how that plays out. And we found an elevator that works. We do a kind of a live recording here, kind of voiceover. We have the first elevator somewhere on ARCOP's orbit, and we're loading the boxes into our Asgard. We already know how to place the boxes, at least most of it, and we show you how we do that in order to max out the capacity. Here you can see where the grid ends and how and where we can place boxes otherwise. We have all 3 contracts activated here on this very location. So we start with the biggest contract, the largest one as usual. This is our recommendation. Load the biggest boxes first, and eventually in the middle start filling up the gaps with smaller boxes. But in general, load bigger boxes first and then the smaller ones. We place this one more or less 90 degrees to the wall. Second one. Yeah, we do here some editing because it's tedious work. use this gridded box tower here as a holder so that the boxes off grid will hold in place so that they don't flip around, fall off and whatnot. And then we start stacking off grid. And as you can see, it has a high ceiling. That means we can easily stack 4 SCUs in heights, off grid and grid. Nice. So we should be able to place horizontal a 4 SCU box, but we cannot. Then we place one sideways, vertical here next to the tower. We use the tower for stabilization. And because we place the boxes at the front end, that means it doesn't fall through. So second tower is done. That means second box to the right side. Yeah, this is the only downside we found in the Asgard. That arch over there, that kind of blocks the 4th SU in height. So we continue loading the boxes outside of the grid. And we absolutely do not like the big Supermax. It is just not intuitive, but it can carry 16 SUs and bigger and further distance, so we do not need to work that much. But that box over here, we absolutely don't like it. You can use the snap grid to move the boxes faster, and then don't let go. Maybe diagonal over here, attach. Nice. Then complete the second tower here. And this is the large contract, or at least part of the large contract already. And while the elevator is lowering and raising, we think top right we should fit 1 SU box in there. Let's have a check. And of course we see it from here, 1 SU box are at the bottom, so that's bad. We continue loading the bigger boxes first. Make a third tower here. Third tower complete. Continue loading left side from the front to the back. And now the 1 SCU, does it fit? It should. Does it? No. Doesn't look like as if it would fit. Yeah, it is. No, it does not. It is too big. Okay, can we put it on top? Oh. Can we? It should. I mean, it even have... No, also not. Try to rotate. Yeah, here you see the geometry. Yeah, geometry works when it comes to loading boxes. Yeah, just place it somewhere here. Bringing in the smaller boxes, these are from the medium contract. So we have half the rest of the large one and half of the smaller ones, the medium contract. And we try to make a solid ground here. And what we mean with trying, yeah, I mean, we have an idea of how to, and every time when we move the boxes in, situation changes a little bit, so you need to adapt. They say survival of the fittest, so if you fit in, you will survive, and if the box fit in, that means that's a go. Okay, here we have 2 times 2 SCUs on the floor. Move the big one on top of it so that we have another 4 top left. This is the 3rd SCU in height. Still 3rd SCU in height. Sometimes you can use the snapping grid to replace the boxes properly in horizontal manner before you actually traverse the box to the place where you want to have, or you are patient enough and move it by hand. Then create another tower here. Can we fit a 4 SU box vertical? We try. Usually we transport 8 SU boxes most of the time, but smaller boxes give you other opportunities to load the ship. And you can be creative here. This is not Tetris in general sense. This is especially when you go off-grid, it's not Tetris anymore. But yet you need to see the three-dimensional space or realm in here where you can put the boxes and how the boxes behave with its dimension given the size of the room. So gridded is easy and fast. We could utilize the atlas for the gridded stuff. Now we create a third row for SCUs horizontal to the very left side of grid. And we do it partially, tower first, then off-grid tower, off-grid tower, off-grid. Next load. Yeah, while we're waiting on the elevator, we think how we can place boxes, where we can place boxes, and especially what kind of boxes. We don't do it for the contract. We don't care about the money we will get out of the contract. We only care about the boxes itself. And this very event is compared to the usual hauling contracts a little bit different. All the boxes you cannot deliver through the contract will remain in your inventory. That is the average gameplay basically. But we still can deliver those remaining boxes and get something out of it. Yeah, well, this is the spot where we should put some music down below. Stacking and loading. So hauling or moving boxes in general is not a gameplay for everyone. We totally get that. But if you do Star Citizen not as a video game, but rather a simulation or roleplay, then you will maybe find joy in that. And we see a lot of people don't have joy in that. They just do it for the FOMO. And while we do the loading, we think that's why we have some random thoughts in our head. But we will load the smaller boxes and we will place it to the left side, off-gridded. That what we tried on the right side should work on the left side. And for whatever reason, we moved the boxes over here. We should do audio recording while video recording at the same time to have some notes. But we thought at the moment we did the action. But here we can see we can put a lot of boxes to the left side. Ui, not too far, it will fall off. Oh, all good. So 1 SCU boxes, 2 SCU boxes through the whole length of the cargo bay. And it even looks like not that much, but they are SCUs that counts. Last one. Yeah, the illusion of gravitation, even here in the simulation. Now the ship is loaded with all 3 contracts, and as you can see, half empty. All right, so then next load, we think we should be able to place another 1 SCU box up there. On the right side, definitely not, but on the right side will be on the grid. Now we will have a look inside the ship. How does it look like so far? And you need to make sure that you can go to the pilot seat. We place the box that we can enter the ship from the left side. And here you can see all the boxes. Awesome, look at that. Look at that. The 1 SU really holds up there. We can close the door. And we are too fat. We need to move the box a little bit to the right side. Yes, and now we can walk through. Awesome, like little kids when we do like cave building in our room. You can walk through. Awesome. Awesome. And yeah, we can walk in, walk out. There is no space for a second player in here. He needs to sit on the floor. And the very best thing of being a trader, moving boxes, is the view into the cargo bay. Look at that. Look at that awesome, amazing view into the cargo bay. We do not see anything but boxes. So one thing that boggles us very much is Star Citizen is still in early access. Okay, active development, that means CIG, the Overlord, do some changes to the system, the realm, the world we live in, inside the verse. There are freight elevators inside these stations where we need to deliver these boxes. With the Asgard, we have a medium-sized ship. That means that we will get a medium-sized hangar, as you can see here. And that means we also get a medium-sized freight elevator. That freight elevator has a certain amount of capacity of boxes you can bring in. We have the bottom floor filled out with every area. We have a tower of 4 ICUs like we have in the ship, and we will verify here that you cannot put a 5th box on top of it. It doesn't grid. There is no grid on the 5th floor, and then we want to lower the elevator. And check-in works from the contract. That is great. We confirm. And then we will get an arrow. And why do we get an arrow? Yeah, you only can put 1 box height inside the freight elevator. This medium-sized freight elevator has a capacity of potential 280 something SCUs, but now during this event, not. That means CIG is absolutely incompetent in creating freight elevators, and these elevators had been there since 3/24, that is fall of 2024, yeah, last year, and they limit the functionality of this freight elevator to 1 box height. What the fuck? Especially these hauling events, when it's everything about delivering cargo, they castrate these freight elevators to 1 box height during this event. Either CIG is totally incompetent or the player bases are incompetent and do not know how to utilize freight elevator. And now you can see we can lower 1 height of boxes. Easy peasy. That is a fucking pain if you want to deliver. The maximum amount of boxes, 1 layer, is 56 SCUs on the grid. Yes, you can't believe we are doing this event, Run for Stanton or whatever the call is. We are doing that in form of a ship review of the Asgard from Anvil. We are traders, not haulers, and we do cargo for a living, basically. And we see a lot of stuff here during this event, the worst and the best of other citizens in here.